Hey guys, welcome back. I was all dressed up to go out today. Like, I really picked out a cute outfit, I thought, I was really proud of myself for that. And we were supposed to go to a show, but when you end up wearing a cute outfit and you're supposed to go out and then your boyfriend gets stuck playing Fortnite with your brother and your cousins, then sometimes you just have to take a step back and decide to pod instead. And that's going to be my night out today. So here we are. And I'm happy to spend it with you all. Yeah. How you doing, Air?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm finally in with the boys.
Yeah. Aaron got the invite to play Fortnite, which I didn't even know that my brother was a Fortnite guy. And basically, Aaron was just like, I
didn't know people played it anymore.
Well, they do.
I got so excited.
You did.
Yeah, I was quite happy.
Yeah.
That the invite was extended to me.
And they were talking on the phone for a long time.
But I haven't played in a few years, so I wasn't very good.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they better than you?
I was probably on the same level as like Andreas and Gregory.
But Zan, you couldn't compete.
Whole other level. It was crazy.
You guys remember our intern?
He was going insane. Yeah.
You remember our intern?
He's faceless in the video.
He's faceless in the video, but he's like weirdly really talented at everything. And he's like 13.
He was popping off, and his voice got so deep and low.
I thought he was 12 this whole time, but I guess
I heard over the voice chat 13 and 18, but maybe it was maybe we rounded up. Maybe someone rounded up.
Okay.
But that's what I heard.
That makes sense. Wow, that's crazy
We need to fact check.
That my cousins are so old, because those are my baby cousins. Like, my littlest cousin is Zan, and he is now 13. Like, that does feel insane to me, because he will always be
that is
the newborn that I dropped on his head.
You dropped him on his head?
Well, I was supposed to be watching him, and I thought, like, those like swivelly chairs that you have in an office?
Yeah.
Well, my dad used to have like an at-home office, and there was a swivelly chair in there, and I was watching Zan. He was pretty little, and I was like, maybe I should just like put him in the swivelly chair and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And his big head fell through the hole in the swivelly chair.
Oh, was it a big hole?
It was a big hole.
Oh, okay.
It was like one of those swivelly chairs where there's the top part.
There's the separation.
And then there's like a little a metal thing. And then there's the bottom part.
Right.
And so he fell right through the middle. Mm-hmm. It wasn't smart to put him on there. No.
Perhaps not.
He did hit his head and he did cry. But
hindsight's
he's okay.
20/20.
Exactly.
You didn't know any better.
I didn't know. I was 11.
Yeah. What could you do?
But at that age, I felt really old.
In comparison, you were.
Well, because he was an infant.
Right.
But that was like really the last infant in our family until Mia. So.
Yes, true.
Who is my niece.
It's
my
interesting
cousin's daughter.
From the other side, because I don't see them super often, and I also didn't grow up with them, so I see them like in sprinkles every now and again. Maybe I've seen and met them like 12 times,
I think more than that.
You think more than 12?
But that is kind of crazy, because you'd have to count all the times that I've gone home since dating you, and then me bringing you home would probably be like half of that, not even.
I mean, like 2 years, it probably would have been the equivalent of like, let's say 8 times.
When did you meet my extended family?
My first time was, I think, spring break.
Wow, that was pretty soon into our relationship.
Sophomore year, spring break. Yeah, well, we were already dating, so.
But like what, 5 months?
Yeah.
No, not even, because we didn't even have Donna yet.
That's true.
We were like 3 months in.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember you met my family
before that, but
yeah, my family came to visit to see me in a show, and Aaron and I were like just kind of seeing each other. I invited him to the dinner not because we were seeing each other, but because we had been friends, and it was the right thing to do. But my family kind of knew that I was seeing him, so they were sussing out the vibes, and Leela did not approve immediately.
I did not make the best first impression.
Because you didn't finish your burger.
No, because Alex
Oh, yeah.
made the worst possible decision. Why?
My roommate. my best friend and roommate.
Made the most unhinged thing. So I was staying over at her place. And to be fair, so I was sleeping over and I left my pants. My pants were there and I had to leave to class. And her family's here, so I'm not going to leave my pants in her room. So I take my pants and I put them under Alex's bed. Alex used to put a ton of stuff under her bed.
I
So
can't
I'm
believe
like,
you put your pants under her bed, though.
I didn't have time to take them to my house, and
You
I was like, I'm
hide
gonna.
them in my closet.
Well, I was like, I'm gonna. Well, they would have probably found it in your closet.
Yeah, that's true. They're
So
pretty sneaky.
I was like, I'm going to put them under Alex's bed. Alex had a ton of stuff under her bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, couldn't. It was a pit. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna pick this up tomorrow. She's not even gonna notice.
Mm.
And I guess that's the night she decides she's gonna do a makeover or clean her room. And she takes my pants, folds them up, and puts them on your bed.
Yeah. And my family, my mom and sister, my dad saw them and he was like, I wasn't there, thank God. And my sister was like, that can't be Erin's pants. They're so small. And so they started calling them baby doll khakis. They were like, these baby doll khakis, they can't belong. Erin was you were really tiny back then. Like, I think you were like so much tinier than me that it looked a little odd. So
like
they were like, this cannot be a man's pants.
I was a young boy.
What, were you 19?
Mm-hmm.
You would have been big enough to have grown up pants by then.
Yeah.
But you just couldn't, you weren't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Took me a few more years. So that was the first impression, and then I had to go to this dinner, so I was quite nervous. I'm going to be honest. I was a little hesitant about going for that reason.
Were you going to dip?
I wasn't going to dip, but
Just be real. Were you going to dip?
Definitely wasn't going to dip, but I made such a terrible first impression that I did not.
You didn't even speak to my family that night.
I was not on the side where that would have been a possibility.
3 times that Aaron met my family, he didn't speak. Like, he actually didn't talk. And they were really concerned. He didn't make great first impressions, but they really do love him now. You also, like, I think
time to grow.
You went through a phase, like, even when we were first dating, I remember, like, you just wouldn't really talk. And I was like, I don't think that we can have a relationship because we're not speaking to each other. Right. It's really surprising that we made it through because we started pretty bumpy.
We had some rocky roads.
But you know what was good about that is that we were both good people with good intentions.
We did have the best of intentions.
And so I guess that's why it worked out.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys, some new updates in my life. Not much. I've been watching Dancing for the Devil, which is the new Netflix.
I was popping in and out of that one while you were doing your thing. That was the most insane thing I've ever heard.
So you know what's weird is like I recognized all of those videos and those dances.
Really?
Yeah, like they're like I would watch them all the time. Which is
did you know they had religious affiliations?
I didn't at all.
Interesting. So
like
they keep that out of the dance moves.
Well, they don't dance to like religious songs.
But they could have like some crosses in the videos or typed out, you know?
Crosses? Like a crucifix?
Yeah.
No.
Well, they could, I'm saying.
I guess they could. I didn't see that.
So they don't keep they keep it on the DL, but they want you to be invested.
I mean, when you see their videos, I think you just think that they're dancers.
Right.
Which they are dancers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the whole thing was like, you know, at first when I started watching the video, I was like, okay, I guess I kind of get why these people are in this cult. But then I kept watching and I was like, I don't know if I would stay.
Yeah.
But maybe I would join.
But maybe you would join it. You could see how you would join in the first place. Honestly,
well, you know,
when we were talking about it, you said, but like, do they get to be famous and stuff?
They do.
Right.
But they already were. Like, they already had their brand. So here's what got me. What got me because, guys, we've been editing a project and I don't know. I haven't been editing because I don't know how to edit, as we all know. But I've been like really trying to morally support Aaron, which just means kind of like sitting next to him the whole day doing nothing, which is what I've done the past 2 days. And I can't stop sleeping. So I do think I may be a little bit depressed, but it's fine.
You've been saying that. We need to get into that later.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I was watching this thing because my coworker, who's also a dancer, highly recommended it to me. I was like, okay, like dance videos for the devil, like that sounds fun. I don't support the devil. I love God. Anyway. But actually, to be fair, they do believe in God, and that's their issue. Anyway,
it's like
okay,
the Kendrick song. He knows the Bible too.
Yeah. That explains a lot. Wow. Kendrick is so profound.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, guys, so I start watching this, and basically what happened was it was already a cult. It was already like a religious cult, and his son was like a video editor or something, or like he worked on sets.
Okay.
And so
he was in.
Yeah, he was like working in sets. He was I don't know if he was like a producer or an editor or what.
Yeah.
And so these dancers started meeting him through that. And I think it was like a kind of a time also with social media where like repping people wasn't as big of a thing. And I think like
in social media,
yeah. And I also think like with dancers, what I've noticed is like their career has really gone towards social media.
Yeah.
Like it's really exploded on social media.
Definitely.
And I think that
I feel like
can make all their money.
Social media, there wasn't like an avenue for like pre-influencer era. There wasn't like a way for dancers to.
I mean, you could be a backup dancer, but like but
to be in the spotlight.
Yes, and like even if you are a top dancer, like this one guy, he was saying he was on World of Dance, right, which is huge,
yeah,
and like a very well-known crumper, and like I think that crumping.
What is a crumper?
It's a certain type of dance. It's like very niche, but he was like one of the most like very famous crumper, and he went on World of Dance for it, and he was like living out of his car, and he had a kid.
Yeah,
like I don't know, I just think like for dancers they get screwed over the most in any artistic field.
That makes sense,
because really the only way for them to be like producing and showing their own work now is through social media. And that's kind of difficult because what I've noticed through social media, you not only have to be your own
brand
artist, you can't just like create and then it's done. You have to be your own editor, filmmaker, producer, manager, everything. And you know, as a dancer, you're not just like making silly videos, like you're putting in like you're choreographing a whole dance and then you have to put those out like every single day. So it's kind of a lot of work.
Yeah.
So they were not able to keep up with the brand offers that they were getting because they couldn't do it all.
Yeah.
And so this guy was like kind of like paying for them to have editors, paying for them to have like
he was their sugar
locations. Papa. Kind of. He became their manager.
Yeah.
Well, he literally transformed 7M. Yeah.
Right.
So when I saw that, I was like, that's not that bad of a deal.
Yeah,
just
Robbie's
to like go over once a week to read the scripture and like
Robbie's kind of a good guy. He's bringing them close
to
God.
And like I also think that, you know, these people are a little bit lost. Like they've moved far away from home.
Yeah.
We have this similar story in LA. This is how cults start. This is why like there's a lot of like weird religious stuff here.
Oh, for sure.
Like
if you want to find some people down on their luck,
come to LA.
Go down the street. Like look around for 30 seconds.
But
any barista.
Anyway, I don't know. It kind of became obvious. Like he had this whole philosophy where he was like, you have to get rid of yourself in order to like save yourself and your family. So you have to completely reject them. I don't know how I would get. I understand the point of like wanting security, wanting family, wanting community, wanting like a higher purpose when you're kind of a lost artist. Like I really do empathize with that.
Right.
But all this stuff after, like, I haven't finished. I've only watched the first part, but I'm like, where was the switch where they couldn't, where they really believed that this was real?
Right.
You know, where they couldn't leave. And like, I don't know.
Well, that's like what's so weird about cults, like the KoolAid cult, Jonestown, you know?
Yeah. What's the KoolAid cult?
You don't know about the KoolAid cult?
No. Is that bad?
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Have you ever heard that?
I have heard that.
Do you know why?
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe look it up. The Jonestown Massacre.
I don't want to look it up.
I'm just gonna do a little look up beforehand. This is like unlocking middle school brain. But yeah, I mean, like any type of cult that picks on people who are kind of susceptible, who are kind of, but yeah, with the Jonestown massacres in 1978 and Jim Jones, he basically had this entire cult on this compound, and in 1978 he had everyone gather and say, "Drink this Kool-Aid," and everyone died. So there are like famous photos of
Everyone died.
of everyone sprawled out on the compound who drank the Kool-Aid. And they're all just passed out dead.
Did he die?
I think he killed himself too, but it was like more than 200 people.
That'd be crazy if like
But that you're like
you
so
didn't
hard
drink
in.
the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, if you
That'd be crazy if you like the one survivor.
Yeah, I wonder.
Like all of those people drank the
They
Kool-Aid.
drank the Kool-Aid.
There was
That's
no
why
survivors.
I have no
No
idea.
one didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
Oh, Jones. Yeah. Well, okay. So Jones shot himself in the head. So maybe he didn't drink it. But yeah, a lot of people drank it. Did everyone die? Survivors? Okay, I think
Were there like drugs involved?
fewer than 100 survived.
But they were poisoned.
Brother,
I can't imagine
don't
making that
fucking
phone
know.
call
To the cops?
to the cops or
Be
to the
like,
hospital, being like,
guys,
"We all drank the Kool-Aid."
we drank some fucking Kool-Aid. Yeah, it was like a huge thing.
So it was like a suicide pact.
Yeah, it was a huge cult, and basically his thing was, I'm taking us to the next level. I'm supercharging this joint.
Cults are really creepy.
They
I
are
think
creepy. They're
especially
weird.
when you tie them like, because I think a lot of cults in the 70s were like tied to like the cult leader being the higher power.
Yeah.
You know, like Charlie Manson.
Yeah, like the God figure.
Yeah.
All knowing.
But I do feel like nowadays there's a lot of like LA churches
Well, it's all the same
that
thing.
disguise themselves as cults,
Yeah.
but use like God to. I mean, I think that can be a religious organization in general.
Yeah,
I
think
really do.
I totally think so. And like there are some religious organizations that are, honest, but I think there's
I think most people, what I've learned, like abuse power.
Yeah.
And if you tie like God to power and having some sort of connection to God, quote unquote,
Yeah,
like
I mean
that's basically, I don't know,
Yeah,
claiming
absolutely.
that you are.
I'm closer to God than you. You should do what I say so you can go to heaven.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't do something if you're down on your luck? Like when we went to church for what was it? Lent? Ash Wednesday?
Yeah, Ash Wednesday.
Like there were people who I saw like crying, at the ceremony. Imagine you're someone in bad faith. You see these people who are clearly going through something. You could easily come up to them and say, the people in those environments are easy to take advantage of, which is why it's oftentimes tied to religious things.
I understand
because people
why.
flock to religion when they're down on their luck.
Which
Oftentimes,
is so heartbreaking.
yeah, it's really bad.
Because
in
even
those
like one
instances.
of the guys who was the dancer, he was saying like, I really felt like I needed to return to God and return to my faith.
Sure.
And like to someone watching that documentary, you'd be like, this guy's an idiot, right? But if you were like grown up religious, if you were
Sure.
raised religious, right? Like I was raised religious, so I feel like in a weird way, not that I'm accustomed to cult behavior, but like it's not as strange to me as it would be, I think, for someone who was raised atheist.
Yeah, or didn't grow up
So
religious.
like when I heard him say that, I empathized with him. I was like, oh, he's just trying to like reconnect.
And also imagine like you're living out of your car, you're in a really bad situation, you're trying your best and things just aren't working out. Like you want to be in a community that will just accept you.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole selling point.
That's so true.
You know? Which makes those people really susceptible. And then if someone is saying, I can bring you closer to God, do what I say. And then in the short term, like in this case, people's lives start getting better. They start getting more followers. They start getting more fame.
The videos were hella good though. Like Robert did do a good job.
He knows how
with
to
the
edit the videos.
He knows how
was
to
he
edit
editing
the
himself or was he paying
I
people?
think he was paying people.
Damn.
But he took a
Where
lot
does
of
he
their
have the
money.
time? Yeah, I was reading. Well, the first thing she said is like 20% manager fee, which is normal. And I'm like, 20%? 20%
20% isn't normal, but I wonder, I have heard of 20% for non-actors.
Oh, really?
I have heard that number.
Oh, okay.
Like, I wonder if that's like
I
more
was
of an influencer thing.
I remember I was in a room with in a play I did, and we were all in a room kind of like talking about like managers and stuff and like the fees. And someone was like, yeah, 10% manager, 10% agent. And I was like, yeah, like mine's 10% manager. And then this other guy, James, he said, 10%? My manager told me 18%. 10% normal, but like they coach me. So I give him an extra 8. And like the whole room went silent. And we're like, they're stealing from you.
Oh. Did you leave them?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
At that point, I think he had already left, but he was like... But that's what I mean. It's like, especially in LA when everyone's kind of on that grind, I think it's easy if you don't have like a great head on your shoulders, which is really hard to have. Like, I'm not judgmental of anyone who has ever fallen for or been taken advantage of.
I'm the
I
idiot
think
that will like grab a disc on Venice Beach. So
you did grab the disc. You did go for the disc, which you can't go for the disc.
That was a really low point, you guys, in my life.
You didn't know.
I wasn't well.
You didn't know.
I didn't know.
Someone, a rapper, handed Sophia a disc, and she took the disc. And I had to take the disc and say, no, thank you. We don't want your disc.
Thank God you're dating me.
Yeah. I mean, that'll happen all the time in New York, too.
I mean,
someone will like come up to you and like put a bracelet on your wrist.
Oh, I hate that.
Mm-hmm. And be like, oh my God, it's perfect. Can you donate to my church?
Can you donate?
That's what they do.
That's so creepy.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll follow you if you walk away. And you put it on my wrist. But yeah, with the call, that's insane. I could see how it happens though. There's a world where it got me if I were a dancer.
It would never get you.
You don't think?
And you would never be a dancer. I've seen your moves on the dance floor.
Should we put up what's the thing I was dancing to the other day?
I found a video on Aaron's phone, and it was like, what women qualify as good dancing versus bad dancing. And it was like this little like stick figure guy doing his little moves. And I thought to myself, like, is he studying this? Like, is he trying?
Oh, I was thinking about Al.
Al?
Dunkachino. Yeah.
Guys, you have to see Dunkachino. It's so funny.
Well, it's a classic. But then me doing it.
Oh, yeah, Aaron. We should put a video of Aaron doing
that's
Dunkachino.
What I meant.
Yes.
Aaron
I think he's so talented in so many different things, but dance is not one of those things. Rhythm is not one of those things.
Yeah, I don't have rhythm.
You don't.
I don't.
I heard, though, in my World of Dance class, I think it was, or something like that rhythm is taught to you as a child. So, like, you know how there's, like, stereotypes that, like, Black people, Latin people have more rhythm than, like, Asian people or white people.
Okay, we brought that around, yeah.
What the fuck did you think I was going to say?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's because they usually in those cultures you're taught rhythm. So like in my Colombian culture, I was taught to dance at a young age. We were always playing music. We were always dancing.
There are things that are culturally that you're brought up with.
Well, yeah, like if your mother is dancing with you in the womb,
Yeah.
or she has rhythm, like you're gonna
Right.
learn it as a part of the
Yeah.
culture. Whereas, like, you know,
Man, Asians and Jews, they don't got it.
they don't have rhythm.
They don't have
Do
rhythm.
do
Asians
Jewish people do
specifically.
that like little circle dance though? That little like
The circle dance?
like you know
We
how
do the
like a
chair
lot
thing.
of like European kind of cultures.
I've never done the circle dance.
They don't circle dance?
I haven't circle danced.
But
I've
you
never
know that they do?
partaken. I'm not sure.
Because
I
Greek
cannot
circle
confirm or
dance,
deny.
and that is the one dance that I cannot do.
Circle dancing is quite. I can't get behind it. Asians, no dance. We are a culture, except some will hip hop. You get the weird pipeline to like a hip hop thing.
That's like really a thing.
Yeah. Some Asians get super into like hip hop
Yeah.
and hip hop dancing. So that is there. You guys are killing it. The rest of us, we don't got it. It's not there. It's not built in.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, we were a not dancing household. My dad always wanted to dance with my mom.
What do you mean?
Like go to ballroom classes.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and
She said no.
Nah, shut that
What
down.
do you want to do? Like little salsa? Remember?
He wouldn't want to salsa, no, like ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like salsa.
like not salsa though.
Like
Like normal, like
okay,
like 1, 2, 3,
extra-
1,
oh,
2, 3.
like a waltz.
Yeah.
You wanted to waltz with your
exactly.
mother?
Yeah.
My dad would never. I don't think I've ever seen my dad dance with my mom. He did dance with me and Leela at the father-daughter dance though when we were kids.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. My dad said a story about with his Aunt Ava, who wanted to dance with him at like a bar mitzvah or something, and he was a kid, and she said, "Let's dance, mister," and then he really did not want to dance. He like refused, and then she dragged him on the dance floor. And like she was a very cool lady though. Like she lived in Vegas.
Ooh.
Whole life, yeah, she was cool. My dad said she was the cool aunt. Like she was super cool. So she takes, and this was the first time he ever danced with a woman before.
His aunt.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's still a female. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I guess the first. I never thought about that until I romantically danced with someone.
That's fair. But like being perceived also, I don't know. You're not as like comfortable with an aunt than like a parent, So that
Yeah.
would be a difference.
Were they like slow dancing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's like, "Hey, you're gonna," and my dad says like he was like kind of stepping on her toes.
How old was he?
He must have been a child.
Oh,
like
a baby.
sub 10.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's really little.
Maybe 10. I don't know. I think I'm lying. Maybe
I don't
12.
even know if I would have like if I would think that way yet. Like this is the first man that I'm dancing with. I don't know if I would think
In
that
retrospect, he felt that way, but he's just telling me the story.
way. Okay, continue.
And he's dancing with her, and he's very nervous, and he puts his hand like high up on her back, and she says, "One day you're gonna start dancing with women, and you put your hand on their waist,
Wow.
and you follow my lead."
But she's supposed to follow. That's always the thing that I had with dancing with people. Like, I always wanted them to follow my lead.
Right. I think she meant her energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is good. When's the first time you danced with a woman?
I'm trying to think.
Do you even remember?
I don't know if I remember. It would have had to have been like, I would say middle school, but I don't have a firm memory of that. Probably in like maybe in 6th grade there was something, but I don't remember I think I remember seeing a video maybe, but I don't remember actually doing that.
A video of you slow dancing with someone?
It wasn't a slow dance. It was like some Hawaiian fucking dance.
Oh, so you never slow danced with anyone?
I mean, at like prom, that would be the only other time.
Okay, so your ex-girlfriend was your first slow dance.
Maybe, yeah.
Do you remember feeling nervous? Or
Well,
you
no,
guys
I
were
mean,
dating?
We were comfortable at that point.
Okay. That's a little bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, I didn't have like a tie to my life there,
Oh,
but you know.
sorry.
Oh, it's okay. What about you, brother?
Yeah, I totally remember
Oh,
my first slow dance. Like, I have a very clear memory of it.
Oh, how old were you? Who was it with?
I was...
Say their name. First and last. Home address.
I was in the 8th grade. I was in the 8th grade.
Oh, okay.
And I just remember, like, you know, we would have like 8th grade dances for the graduates. And I think there was the school dance that the school threw, and then there was the girls threw a dance, the boys threw a dance, and then there was one other dance that was a mixed group of boys and girls that threw it. And so there was like 4 dances that we went to all together, and this was like the time of my freaking life, you guys. Like, this was when I felt my coolest, because I was able to express myself through dance, right? And I was like such an awkward little prepubescent child. But yeah, I remember that we were dancing, and I was like holding him the wrong way, I think. And I remember, like, he took my arms and put them around where they were supposed to be, around his neck. And I was like, damn, that's so smooth.
Damn, daddy.
Damn.
Did you just say that?
No, that's nasty, Aaron. I'm not into that.
Okay. It's fine.
And then we slow danced, and it was fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good experience.
Yeah.
That's very positive.
It was very positive, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was like, wow, this is love.
Yeah. But so, okay, we've kind of only talked about the pros of Robert so far.
Oh, I mean, like, they had to leave their families. Like, they fully, like, weren't allowed to talk to their families.
He was stealing from them,
He was stealing from them. I've only watched the first episode, you guys, so I have to fill you in later on the later episodes. So...
Yeah, we've only watched the first one, but probably gets worse. It's probably not.
Oh, for sure.
They resolve it, and it's all
I'm
good.
just trying to, like, empathize with these people, because I think that a lot of...
It is crazy that this generation, it's like people
who
post on TikTok are in cults now, you know? Like, there are TikTok cults. That's pretty insane.
But it kind of makes sense to me.
It does make sense. It's fucking insane, though.
But what happens when TikTok ends, you guys?
What happens to those
Where
people?
are the cults gonna go?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. TikTok has always creeped me out.
It feels weird as a platform.
Like,
yeah.
I think it's fucked that the government wants to censor us by turning off TikTok, because I do think that most of our news comes from social media now, and I think that can be good and bad. I think the good thing about it is that people are not being censored. If you have, per se, like... Well, you know, all of that stuff, like, coming out with, like, you know, the rumors about Drake, like, with everything coming out with Diddy. Like, people can go online and share their stories without being censored.
Right.
I think that's very important, and I think that people want to censor that. People want to censor the ability to just speak free speech, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's like before you had to go to, like, the news. That's the purpose of the news, was like, if you wanted to get your story out there, whether it's like about the government or about like some kind of social entity, and now you can just like do that yourself, and then TikTok will, you know, you can do it yourself. Yeah. You can share your story.
Yeah, and I do think that that's important, and I think that people are afraid of that.
Of it going away. Or of it, or you're saying the ops are afraid of people doing that.
Yes, cool. I do think that, you know, people are. I also think, like, even the idea of celebrity has changed, because if you have a bad interaction with a celebrity, you can just go on TikTok and say how they treated you. Whereas before, like, that information would never come out, and their image was totally crafted.
And you have a team of people who curate.
Yes, and not to say that you don't have people still obviously have teams of people. The news is still very curated. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
no, but it's
there's
like
other outlets where people can speak.
It's a lot more genuine, you know.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot more. You have that availability.
Yes.
Like, if you post it, it's out there. Even if it starts getting 1 million views, it's like you can't take that away. You can't get it taken down.
Yeah, and I guess the whole thing in my head was, I was like, oh well, you know, people can lie when they're saying these things, when they're express it when you're getting news from random people on the
Right.
internet. But honestly, like, I do think that a lot of news outlets are clearly politically controlled. And
Yeah, for sure.
And
make it up too.
so I do think that, honestly, like, trusting a random girl online,
Yeah, I think.
I trusted
I mean,
about
if
the
it's.
same as the news outlets.
I mean, if it's
Daily Mail, come on.
I mean, Daily Mail for sure. If it's a personal story, I kind of tend to believe it.
No, me too. Yeah.
I mean, it depends what it is. Like, if they're like, I've been seeing some shit where it's like, it's this like Disney account, but they share fake news about Disney.
Oh.
So they said something like the Tiana ride was closed because the employees didn't like it. Like, they did the walkthrough.
Oh,
and the
why are they sharing fake news about Disney?
And I was like, what the hell? They closed Tiana's ride? I was looking forward to that. And they were like, no, we want to bring back Splash Mountain. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I guess it's Florida, but Jesus Christ. But then I Googled it. I Snopes. Fake. But they got me.
Yeah, honestly, like, those like little AI generated shit, like, that gets me. Like, I was scrolling on TikTok the other day and I saw this video of Leonardo DiCaprio speaking fluent Spanish. Fluent. No accent. And I was like, fuck.
Holy crap.
I was like, I've failed myself.
Have you seen Ben Affleck speaking Spanish?
No, he actually speaks really well.
That one's insane.
But like the way that I was like, not fucking Ben Affleck and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Like, I will be a No Sabo kid for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, it hit me. That one really hit me. And then I saw it was AI generated and I was like,
felt better.
It's okay. Like, you may not speak as well as Ben Affleck, but one day you'll get close to J-Lo.
True. You're probably surprised J-Lo at this point. I was listening to someone who said on TikTok who worked at a movie theater who hated her because he said that every time she would come in, she would tell management that no one else was allowed to buy tickets to any other movie. Like, she wouldn't buy out the theater. She would just say, you're not allowed to sell any other tickets. She would have her own private entrance in the back.
For the movie she just made?
For if she wanted to go see a movie personally. So they'd have to, like, the AMC would have to, like, clear out. They wouldn't be allowed to bring anyone else in the theater. She'd have to go through her own entrance. So, like, their team was like, you have to make sure she comes out through the back. But there are dumpsters in the back, and she doesn't want that. So you guys have to clean the whole entire alleyway. So he was like, we were, like, on our hands and knees, like, scrubbing the alleyway.
That's awful.
And then she came in. She didn't even look at us. She went to see her movie, and she left. He was like, and like more famous people go into that theater all the time, use the front doors. Like Jamie Foxx comes in.
Yeah, guys, but I'm literally not going to be caught online slandering J-Lo's names.
I'm not going to be caught online slandering her name too.
You love to be caught online slandering people's names.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what? Fuck. I know that I'm one day going to be famous and probably meet her. And I have always been a J-Lo fan, so I'm not going to slander her name.
Sophia loves J-Lo, okay? She's J-Lo stan. And you know what? She was great in Hustlers.
She was great in Hustlers.
She was amazing in Hustlers. So I'm not going to talk like mad shit.
In my interviews with my agents and managers, I did say that Hustlers was my favorite movie.
And what did they say?
I don't know. I don't really remember that. Like, that whole time I kind of blocked out of my life.
That's fair. I remember one saying, like, you know, they always say in like what to ask, because they always ask, like, say, I fucking hate in interviews where like, do you have any questions for me?
I hate when people ask that. And
it's
like,
like
at the end of an audition too, I'm like, at the end of an audition, I think is worse than a job interview.
Yeah, well, a job interview, like, you're like, you know, you're collaborate. You know, it's like your job. If it's a company, like, you might want to genuinely know about how they function. So that makes sense. An audition, it's like, dude, it's already like, I already feel degraded that I'm doing this in front of you in the fucking first place. Like, don't make me ask you a fucking question, you know?
Yeah, don't make me ask you. I never do. I know that maybe I should, but I'm just like, no, I'm done.
I mean, like, I get it. It's like I think it's usually out of some kind of nicety.
It is. It's like a formality.
Yeah. Do you have any questions? It's like, no, I don't. But like, I hate when it's like an expectation that if I don't ask a question, I might be like docked. a letter
Yeah.
grade or whatever.
It does feel that way when you're like in manager or agent interviews.
Yeah, they're like, do you have any questions? And it's like, is this like a thing right now? Am I supposed to ask you? Because the whole thing is, it's like, we have to vibe. So I read that like one of the questions, like, oh, what kind of roles do you see me in? You know?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, let's not get that far.
They said that to you?
Yeah, they're like, this is kind of our first meal together, and we don't really know you, and you're kind of pushing the envelope. And I said, motherfucker, you asked to meet with me. Fuck you. What's talent?
Oh, yeah.
I won't name the agent, but I'll name the agency.
Just spew it out.
Those bastards.
Air out your dirty laundry,
Dude,
bitch.
They're bastards.
Anyway, guys. Yeah.
Well, oh, we're going to end on that note, on me slandering them
Well,
publicly.
is there anything else you want to say positive about them?
No, I have zero positive things to say. And then the next thing they said to me during the meeting was like, yeah, like we get people, I remember, sometimes it's really tough out there for new young actors. It's just so tough. They live in like, studio apartments or like one bedrooms, and
What a struggle.
we had a kid come up to us and say, hey, I just really need to pay for my health care. Is there something you could send me out on? So we found him that audition. He didn't book it. And I'm like,
That's your job.
why would you tell me that?
I remember
Why did you invite me to this?
I met with them too, and they were really odd. I remember them telling me like, oh yeah, we only sign a certain amount of people because we have to get them booking very soon. But,
I saw your roster.
But we
okay.
signed this one person who we knew, like we knew that she wouldn't book for 10 years, but we decided to sign her anyway because she was so talented. And I was just like, what? Sometimes in like agent or manager meetings, they will say things that are completely not related to you.
Yeah, like they want to hear themselves
like little
talk.
subtle flexes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, I'm shaking in my boots right now. I am downstairs in my parents' house. My mom is definitely listening in while she's folding laundry in her robe.
Yeah.
Like she is right there. I can hear her footsteps.
You hear her breathing, yeah. For sure.
And I don't know. I personally love my team, love my people, so I
True.
am happy.
They're
But
good folks.
with the strike and everything, guys, it's been freaking slow. And honestly, like I've been asking myself, what am I doing wrong? But I know that it's only been like 2 years of auditioning, so it's not that bad. But when you meet someone, like even if they have the best intentions at like a party or something, first thing they're asking you is, oh, what roles are you booking? Because you're an actor. You know what I mean? It's like
shut the fuck up. I will tell you, like, if I like you and that's a thing, I will tell you, okay? Don't ask me that.
Never ask an actor if they have booked
What
anything.
are they up to? If the next person that asks me that, I'm going to push them off a balcony. Like, I mean, why would...
It's so awkward. And I do the same thing every time. I'm like, oh, well, like I'm just kind of trying to work on my own stuff. But then that's also fucking weird because then they feel sorry for you after you say that.
Yeah, it's like, don't...
When it's like, pat yourself on the back that you're even trying to work on your own stuff. And I realized, like, if I didn't care what strangers thought of me, what my family thinks of me.
Those people who are asking aren't up to anything either.
Yeah. Well, you don't know, maybe.
99% positive.
But I do think that it is. Everyone also is saying, the industry is fucked right now. Like the industry. And even though, like, I guess it is, like, I do see that in, my auditions and the path that I'm going down. I do think that I would be okay and content with my life if everyone stopped speaking about what I was doing.
Yeah, like if people just chilled the fuck out. Like, it's definitely, like, when I'm consciously thinking about it, when people are like, oh, what are you up to? Like, have you gotten anything? And I'm like, you can look me... No. Why are you asking me that? That's like a little. That's just like a little brazen, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like the common thing. Like people often ask me like, "Oh, how's that
Thing going.
acting thing going?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm still working at the Pilates studio, so it's not going great."
Yeah. Like it's going so well.
And the thing is, honestly, you guys, I'm going to be frank with you. By my own standards, it's going okay. So, most days I feel really, really sad that I haven't booked something. But I think that like 80% of the people who make it, it's either luck or they know someone or they've created their own path that doesn't have to do with auditioning. I think it is pretty fucking rare to just book something after 2 years. I know that because this is the career that I've chosen. So I am actually okay with where I am. Would I like us to be making more things and not have to work a day job? Absolutely. But would I also be okay if, we created our own path and that was how we became successful? I don't care how it happens. And I don't think that necessarily booking like a guest spot on a show versus like creating my own short film, it looks different on paper, but it doesn't feel different to me. And sometimes that's a nice reminder to have to yourself, Sophia.
True, to Sophia. Well, yeah, because I don't know, like that's it does feel nice like when you're taken care of, and if you're like on a set, there's like a credential there and you're taken care of, like you can just do
and
your
you
thing.
Feel like there's but even then, like even when you're on a set, like right, I had like a one-liner one time in my life. That's the only thing I've ever booked. And it felt great. But then afterward, you're like...
You're on your own again.
I think there's this thing in my mind where I'm like, oh, if I book something, I'll just book the next thing, right?
Right.
But that didn't end up happening. And, you kind of have to have like a big break to really forge that path for yourself.
And even if you do, it's like there's no, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just there's an element of the when that you just don't know. Mm-hmm. So like to me, it would be really scary if I was kind of just waiting for that, and like we weren't trying to do our own thing.
Oh yeah. And I'm also like proud of the work that we do. I honestly am, and I think that over time things grow.
Yeah, it just takes time.
It just like my patience is waning, you guys.
It's tough. So if you ever see us and you ask us
what we've been up to, just watch this pod.
Reflect. And remember, if we are near a balcony, I will go with you too. We'll both go down.
Right. And on that note, we hope you guys have a great Friday night. Except we won't be posting this on Friday.
And it's also not Friday today.
It's Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, every day that I go to work, my mind becomes so numb that I block out the whole day.
Valid.
And I did work today on a Saturday, so that's why I'm the way I am.
And that's okay. This is a new day tomorrow.
And tomorrow's Sunday, so
it's true.
And Leela and my mom are visiting soon, you guys. So
gotta get this place in shape.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should do a Leela one.
Maybe we should. My mom would have to watch though.
We'll think about it. Anyway, good to see you guys. Oh, this one was longer than I thought. All right. Have a good rest of your week, because this will be by Monday we post this.
Our next one, we're going to try to film outdoors. Sorry about that, you guys.
Might be.
We've had a very busy week.
We've had a rambunctious week.
But we're going to get back on track.
I've been on this couch for
and give you what we've promised. And we love you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. FIFA for fun, bitches.
For the thumbnail.